So we're back by our beehive today. It's the middle of June. We are concerned because I believe our hive swarmed back in May when I was out of town for a week. We're going to go inside and see if there's any brood being laid, any eggs, anything that shows evidence that the new queen survived, mated, and is growing the hive. We see bees going in. By this time, the vast majority of our bees from the original hive would probably be dead. So these bees could be robbing this hive. We're not sure, or else they are just going out and coming back in and it's doing okay. So that's our search for today. We're hoping for some good news that there's some brood in there. We'll find out. We've taken off the top cover. We've taken off the honey super that was on top. There's really nothing much going on in there. So this is the third brood box, and you can see there's some bees in between these frames. That's good news. There's quite a few bees. I'm hoping that means maybe there's going to be some brood in here. That would be an awesome thing to find. We're going to check and see what's going on. All right, lifting up this top box, there's an awful lot of drone cells up in here, but this down here on the bottom, see these elongated ones? That's a queen cell. There's also some larvae in there. So this is significant because you can see there's some baby bees down inside, deep in those cells. See those little white pockets? That's larvae of bees. So we do have bees populating this hive. It's maybe not the best looking setup so far, but there are bees in it at least. I'm going to try and flip this over carefully without hitting that queen cell. Here we are on the opposite side, and again it looks like possibly another queen cell right down there. There's some other queen cells, larvae. So I have a feeling that the bees are still flourishing. The problem is this queen that's in there is maybe not the best. So they might be trying to produce another queen because this one isn't doing so well. Hopefully we'll get some other queen in here that's a little bit more a little better at laying eggs and growing the population. But at least they're all alive, so that's a good sign. We at least have something going on in here, so I'm happy to see they're alive at least. This is our second brood box. You can see it's pretty full with bees. There's a big drone up on top of there. Yeah, that was not a queen. That looked like a big drone. So once again, we have multiple boxes sort of filled. We're going to open these frames up, at least a few of them, and see if we have some better brood patterns in there. That top frame was rather sporadic, not that great. So I see some drones in and out of here flying around. Most of the bees seem pretty docile and pretty happy, so that's usually a good indication that they're happy with what's going on. But let's take a look. Okay, so this is the second brood box. We've opened up the frames, and you can see, looking at the frames here again, it's very sporadic patterns of brood. Not that great, honestly. I mean, there are eggs being laid, but it's not great. I think I can see why maybe the bees are wanting to raise a different queen for this hive, because they're not really that good. Some of this larva doesn't look like it's completely hatching. I can't tell. I don't see any mite issues on this hive. Just looks like the queen is just maybe not doing real well in terms of laying eggs. So it is something that we've never really dealt with before. Our queens have been really good and solid. Our original queen probably took off. This queen is maybe not having as good a season, so hopefully if they do raise another one, we get better results. This is our bottom brood box. Not a lot of bees in here. Honestly, looking through this hive, there's not a lot of honey in here either. We We rotated the honey super and put it here on the bottom to give them more space to lay some eggs in hopes that that would work out. And honestly, it looks like they're placing honey in here. I can see the frames look pretty full. We're going to take a look at those and see how much honey is in there. But it looks like they've kind of chosen to put honey in the bottom one here, which isn't unusual. But we might want to try and flip that to the top. So here's what I did. I shrunk down my configuration from 3 brood boxes down to 2. I took all the honey frames that were a little bit more full and placed them in these 2 boxes, removed the ones that are empty, and we're gonna eliminate 1 brood box because it's just too much for them to work around. We have lots of frames in there for them still for a queen to lay eggs and do some other work, but this should be easier for the hive to protect too because everything's more confined, and hopefully they'll do a little better. We'll find out, but yeah, it's nice to see. I still have a decent amount of bees. It's not quite enough to fill 2 brood boxes, but it's not too bad. I mean, honestly, I could even put the 3rd box on top to give them more space, and I might do that and give the queen a chance to, you know, flourish a little bit more on top if she chooses to, or if they have another one that comes out of the queen cell, mates, and moves on. So at least we have some bees. There is very little honey, however, in this hive. I would say out of these 2 full boxes and 8 frames, there's maybe only about 3 frames of honey, which is not a lot if you ask me. So maybe this will help that we confined it down a little bit.